Hey, GLP-1 plus size community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault. Hey everyone, before we dive in, I really want to share something personal with you. About, I want to say like 8 to 10 months ago, after losing 100 pounds on GLP-1s and keeping it off for a long time, I started regaining out of nowhere, and I was terrified. But I also started having hot flashes and bouts of crying and snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. unable to go back to sleep. It turns out I was in perimenopause. So I started hormone replacement therapy, which is also called HRT, through a telehealth called Winona that specializes in this. And it changed everything. And now I'm sleeping better. And my hot flashes are all but gone, thank God. And I feel like myself again. And it turns out that you can actually start perimenopause as early as 35. And well, I'm 46 and she's here. HRT has really come a long way and there's just no need to suffer anymore. So if you're like this and you're in the same boat, you can check out buywinona.com and you can use the link in our link tree to save some money.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Ro now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper. With results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster, confidence higher, price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
Hey.
Welcome to the Plus Sides Podcast.
Hey there.
Hey, Kat. How you doing?
It's post New Year and the holidays.
It's post New Year and those are facts. Yeah. Do you have feelings?
When we're recording, we are we have recovered.
We have.
Have we?
I don't know. I wouldn't say I have. I did not get enough time off. But the time I did have off was glorious though. It was.
Nobody ever does, except for those people who get 2 weeks off, and I'm a hater. So
yeah, I know. I got like a few days off in between. So I mean, it's funny. I'm just going to say it. My company's like, we have a generous time off policy. And I'm like, unless you close from Christmas to New Year, it ain't generous. I'm just saying for the record.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like, it's like that in limbo, even if like business is open, it's just in limbo last 2 weeks of the year.
Okay, I have an idea for starting our first episode that we were recording in the beginning of the year.
The first episode in the first, in 2026. Yeah.
What is your New Year's resolution? And those who are able to comment on YT, I can say it, YouTube, and on Spotify, tell us your New Year's resolution. Does it have anything to do with weight loss? That's what I want to know. Kat, what about you?
I get away from New Year's resolutions. I just want to get back into like normally scheduled programming. So, no more gratuitous wine nights, no more gratuitous wine and cheese nights.
Oh,
I know.
Jesus
I
protein.
say gratuitous kind of lightly. I still have. Oh, and it is dry white wine January, not dry January for me.
That's
but anyway,
okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm just looking forward to getting back on schedule.
Yeah.
I do have like some goals, but they're not really like resolutions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like goals.
Yeah.
Goals like a regular resolution.
Personal and professional goals, and I also like goals around for this house. And we need to do some things. I need to pimp out my house.
Pimp your house.
Yeah, the backyard right now. We're gonna start the backyard.
Yeah. Well, my New Year's resolution, I don't really know what it is, to be honest. I haven't really thought about it. Last year was the first year in my entire young adult life that my New Year's resolution was not to lose more weight.
I have a goal for you.
That was crazy. What's the goal?
I have an idea.
What?
So I bought Kim a pair of Brooks sneakers for Christmas this year.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Kim
is dabbling into running.
I am. It's crazy. Although I have been really bad since John got sick. FYI, John got sick. And was in and out of the hospital. And
but we got her.
Yeah. But Kat got me running shoes for Christmas.
Kim has been running in Crocs.
I have. But it's, what's great about running? And we have the running episode we did. What's great about running is you feel like a kid. Like you feel free and kind of like stupid and like young. It's
I'm glad you like it.
I mean, it hurts because I'm in a big
can't run. And oh my God, I don't say that I can't run anymore. I always pull a hip muscle when I run. That's why I cycle.
Okay, we're very squirrely right now. Okay.
No. So my goal for you, I think I'm going to register you in a. That is squirrely.
I got Dolly Parton's lipstick.
I am. Look at her Dolly Parton lipstick.
Quick plug for Dolly. Look, I got.
Who doesn't love Dolly? Lipstick. Because she is a delight, just like my sweatshirt.
She is a fucking delight.
Love her. I'm going to register you for a 5K. That's what I'll do. And
I'll
walk jog with you. And I will tell you. You what?
Would you do couch to 5K with me?
I would. I'll see how I can. I will have to go to a chiropractor a couple times a week. My hip flexors. I'm trying to. That's a good goal for 26 to strengthen my hip flexors.
Okay, well, that's our goal. All right, listen. Our goal this year is couch to 5K and to do a 5K together.
Join us.
Everybody out there. Put it in the comments. All right, we've gone 4 minutes with our ranting.
That's okay.
Let's tell people who we are. All right, for those of you that are regulars and you don't want to hear this nonsense, this is your cue to fast forward. Okay. I don't want to hear no complaints. Zip it. All right. If you're not new here, okay. So my name's Kim and this is Kat and this is the Plus Sides Podcast. And we are a podcast that focuses on healthcare advocacy, but we focus a lot on metabolic disease. So obesity, type 2 diabetes, PCOS, insulin resistance, kind of anything in that vein. You know what I mean? We also talk about HRT because a lot of our listeners are in a certain time of their life. Kat and I are on HRT and it's a big deal. Because perimenopause is a bitch. Okay. And so that's what we talk about here. We interview people from our community that treat their obesity in various ways. It could be surgery plus GLP-1s. It could be not surgery. It could be contrave. It could be lots of different things. But we try to focus on bringing a lot of education and advocacy to this area. Kat and I are advocates. Like we go to the Hill and speak with lawmakers because we want to change things. So one of our slogans of this podcast is let's get loud and change things. Because it's not just getting loud, right? It's getting out from behind the camera, showing up, being in the room where decisions are being made, even though it's hard, So that is what we do. I've been on GLP-1s for 3.5 years. I've lost 110 pounds. I've gained back 10. I'm still on it. I have completely changed my life. I don't want to say my lifestyle. I've just changed my life. And it's because I think I just got to a place of healing, like physically, that allowed me to get to a place to heal mentally and then further physically, if that makes sense. So it's been life-changing for me. And when the food noise turned off for me for the first time, I thought I was having a stroke. But then when I realized that's not what was going on, I said that I needed to learn everything about what was going on with my body. And then I needed to tell everyone, because the first thing I realized once I came out of that haze really was that it couldn't be my fault. It's not possible. And not if this was the thing, right? It couldn't be. And so that's what this podcast is. You're not alone. It's not your fault. And we're so glad to have you here. All right, Kat, who are you? What you do? Why are you here? What you going?
Which way you going? Which way you going? Which going?
Which is?
That makes me think of Kevin Hart. What you doing? Where you going?
Where you going?
What you doing? Where you going?
I
will always have a popular culture reference or something like that. That's what Kim says.
Always.
So yes,
I usually don't know it.
Noise. I'm going to wear my sweatshirt. First of all, I'm a delight, and I feel like that. Yep. And Kim and I had this conversation.
I'm not going to tell it.
You're not. No. Okay.
No.
She said the whole thing.
It's a professional podcast. I'm not going to.
It is a very professional podcast, right? Anyway, so hi, I'm Kat. I'm Kat Carter 7 on the TikTok.
Hey.
While it's still surviving and thriving, surviving. While it's still surviving.
Yes,
I've lost 100 pounds, maybe 95, give or take, the Christmas holiday season and the vino and the cheese. But like I said, I'm looking forward to getting back into like a full regular schedule. I love fitness. I'm going to announce it now. I'm working on a GLP-1 cooking guide.
That's right.
And I'm focusing specifically right now on a certain ingredient. I don't even want to put it out there, but I did make something today that was delicious.
Yeah.
Some chili cheese fries, air fried French fries, turkey, chili, and
the special ingredient.
A nacho cheese protein thing. Yeah. Very, very high protein.
Damn, that sounds great.
That,
I'll be right over.
I worked on today. And it was a good lunch,
Straight up though, straight up, Kat is a cook. She could cook her face off. She could bake, she can cook. I like to go to her house and sleep over and eat food and drink wine. I'm not gonna lie. It's a good time. All right.
What we do at the house.
That's what we do. So Kat and I have both struggled, just real quick, with obesity since we were young. Yep. Always struggled. We were both very active, just in different ways. But we just did ultimately we are who we are. And we talk a lot about that. So if you're on this journey, you're new here, I want to say something to you that before we get started, which is that truthfully and honestly, you can only do so much. This is a disease. Now you can try to do a lot and you can go afar, right? You really can. There's lots of things that you can do to get further. But I just think that the way the algorithm works, unlike with podcasts, right, is that people think that they're going to be in a skinny body. And when they don't hit that skinny body, they think they've done something wrong. And there is science behind why you are not. And so I want to make sure that Kat and I talk about that because we still live in big bodies. Kat's a 12, I'm a 14. We're not small,
Fabulous.
So, yeah. So we talk about, now, there are plenty of people that do, but most people don't. So just, give yourself grace and let's learn. That was a long ass intro. We usually have it to 3 minutes.
We have a lot of information to cover.
We're doing resolutions, so
we have a lot of information to cover, and join us. Stay tuned for a C to 5K adventure.
Yes. Oh my God. That's going to be really fun. Let's track it on. Let's track it on Instagram.
We will.
Let's follow us on Instagram right quick. Okay. We'll put it in. It's linked.
We'll put it in the notes.
Yeah, it's in the notes. Okay, cool. All right. So today we are going to talk about this topic, but we're also going to be talking about men's health because we think it's really important. One thing, when Dr. Kessler came on our show, so he's the former FDA commissioner under Clinton and Bush, and he came on our show to talk about obesity and GLP-1s. And I thought that he made a really good point because he goes, here's the thing, the men are dying sooner. And that's true. The men are dying in their 50s, and there's reasons for that. And I want to make sure that we kind of shed some light on that today and talk about what that is and see what it is that we can do. So that's what our episode's going to be about today. And who knows where the wind will take us, because this is already kind of crazy. Because I'm tired as hell. All right. Community guest first, doctor second. Community guest, I'm going to invite him in now. Hi, AJ.
Hi, AJ. And before we get into it, because AJ and I are both, you're in Omaha, Nebraska right now, right? And I'm from Omaha.
Omaha.
We so Husker fan? No?
I went to Carolina, so I'm a Tar Heel.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan, so that'll work for me. That'll work for me.
I would root for Nebraska. I have Do I have? Oh yeah, I did. I bring home sweatshirts and stuff for the hubs. I have my Nebraska mugs and stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you say, here's the real question. When you say Mounjaro, do you say Mounjaro or do you say it like Kat says it? Kat, say it real quick.
Mounjaro?
No, I said the right way.
The right way.
Having an accent in Nebraska, it's not as like the accent is not as like Wisconsin-y as people may think.
Yeah, no, I think we're pretty Midwest, like Kansas, Missouri would be probably closer to our accent. Iowa, maybe. So,
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
My husband's from Columbia, Missouri. He just does Mounjaro too. Anyway, but Kat has been saying it since the beginning, and it just became.
I grew up in South Dakota too, so maybe that's where it came from. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, we are glad to have you here, AJ. So the way that we do the show, so first of all, AJ's been with us since the beginning. Like we've been creators on TikTok since the beginning.
AJ's an OG.
Like he has a great platform. Please follow him. I'm going to put all of his links and everything in there so that you can go follow him. He does lives. He's a very supportive, good spirit and a good follow. So, quick plug there. And AJ is going to come on the show and tell us all about his story. And what we do is we go on mute so that because Kat and I are like chatty Cathys, and so we tend to interrupt. And then we'll be on here 2.5 hours, and we don't want that. So we're going to go on mute, and then we'll come off when it's time for like discussion and questions. Sound good?
Okay, so I'm just going to tell my story, and you guys are going to be cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you get hung up,
I'm really good at it.
Take care of you, but I'm not
But
going to
my wife's sick of hearing it, but I'm really good at it. So
yeah, tell us the story. We're going to go on mute. You tell me all the things, everything you want to say it.
Okay, so like both of you said, I've been in a bigger body my whole life. I remember being, junior high school, being over 200 pounds, 7th grade, over 300 pounds at points in high school. But I was always active, so I always played football, I wrestled, I played other sports, and we played basketball outside. I was always a pretty active kid, but I was always big. And so going through life, I always felt out of place. I never felt like I fit in. But even though crazy things going on in my life, like, I was prom king. So I always fit in. I just always fit in as the fat friend, basically. So I always had a lot of friends, always had, never had any problem with that. Never had any like really good luck with the girls until I met my wife, thank God. Because if it wasn't for her, I'd been in trouble. So shout out to my wife of 20 years. And she, we met at a very young age, but by the time that I had met her, I had finally had a job, and I was eating pretty much McDonald's or Burger King or Taco Bell pretty much twice a day, if not 3 times a day. I was eating out of control at certain points because when I was younger, we had a lot of food scares. We didn't have a lot of food. We were on food stamps. My parents did the best they could, but my dad didn't meet my mom until we were in like 3rd grade. But I remember times when it was just me, my mom, and my two of my brothers that we didn't have food at points. We didn't, we weren't really sure where the next meal was coming from. Luckily, my grandparents helped out where they could, and it's just part of the journey. So I think at a very young age, I was always thinking about food. I was always constantly thinking, okay, I need to eat as much as I can, because if I don't, then I don't know if I'm going to get that in food. And so, growing up, I think when I met my wife, I was about 350 pounds. And so from high school to about 21, I was 350 pounds. So then my wife, being also in a bigger body, she, we bonded over food. That was me and her thing. We would eat, out fast food all the time. And, and then we started having kids, and we had full-time jobs, and So I would say about 2010, I was like, all right, I need to figure something out. I was probably four something. It's four early fours, like 410, 420, somewhere in there. Because I remember being like, oh, I need to, and so I lost 100 pounds, and then like everything, I was in the gym all the time. I was spending so much time in the gym. I worked out, worked my butt off, and I was on the treadmill like probably an hour a night. I would do weights for an hour a night. I would spend so much time in the gym, and and then as soon as I stopped, it'd come right back on. If not, and then 10 or 20 more pounds. So I went through that cycle. I ended up from 2010 to about 2017, I'd lost 100 pounds 3 times and gained it back. And so lost it, gained it back, lost it, gained it back. You would think I would be sick of that cycle. So 2017 comes around, uh, my mom passes away. And I remember being at a funeral, being so uncomfortable. And I was like, all right, my mom was 57, and she had her health issues, not like she was obese or anything like that, but she had other health issues that she didn't take care of. She basically didn't take care of herself. So I was like, I need to start taking care of myself. But the way I did it is I went so psycho about what I was eating and or not eating, and going to the gym and spending so much time in the gym and lifting weights and doing this and doing that. I had spent it. My journey was never about getting healthy. It was about just getting to a smaller body. So, but I went and got on the scale after she had passed away, and I was 493 pounds. And I was like, all right, I got it. So I got down to like 320. And I don't know what happened at 320. I know, like, I remember the weekend. I remember like everything about it. It was my brother's wedding. I went and ate Taco Bell. I was like, I can start eating a little bit differently now. I don't have to be so crazy. And then it was like that. I was back up again. I was, over 400 pounds. I was like, so, and here's kind of where here's where the dramatics come. So I apologize, guys, but uh, so it was 4 years ago now, around Thanksgiving. I'm 466 pounds. My mobility is starting to get worse and worse. I'm starting to get up in it, and my right shoulder's hurting. I have like a pinched nerve, and it's going all the way into my fingers. Like I was like, man, this is weird. So I go to a chiropractor. And he's like, yeah, I can fix it, no problem. He does all the X-rays, and I when he was adjusting me, he broke my neck. So, and it wasn't like a boom and I couldn't walk. It was like a gradual thing. It would happen about over 3 weeks. Like my legs started going numb in a couple of days, and then I started having trouble walking, and then I had to start holding on to the wall. I thought it was just from me being overweight. So at this point, I was 466 pounds. All the reason I know that is because I looked at my chart afterwards, because I ended up in the hospital. But I just remember, like, I fell at work, I hit my head. My buddies from work put me in my Jeep, tell me to go home for the weekend and walk it off. Like, we're men, we're tough. I'm not going to the doctor. So so Sunday night comes around, and I slip and fall. I can't get up. My legs aren't working. And I lay on the ground for like an hour and a half, probably. And so mad at myself that I let myself get to this point, because I knew it was about the weight. Like, of course, the chiropractor had his part in it, but I had an issue already, and I knew that. So I was so mad at myself. And so finally, after like an hour and a half, my wife screaming at me, telling me that she wants to call a squad. And, I'm like, no, we're not calling a squad, because I'm still mad. And so finally, I told God, I was like, if you let me get up this one time, let me get out one more time. I'm gonna lose this weight, and I'll figure it out, man. I'll figure it out. I'll help as many people as I can. So I grade and I grind and I got my butt up and I got into bed. And the next morning we called the doctor and the doctor told us to go to the hospital immediately. So we go to the hospital. They do a scan of my back, find out that when he was adjusting me, he crushed my C6. And so they go and do the surgery through the front of my neck and fix it. I get back to work, everything's walking. Like 3-4 weeks later, I trip over a rug and hit my head again. Crushed my C7, have to have a second surgery. So I got 2 big pulls down my neck, a big scar. And so like that's where all like the videos of me being in the hospital and doing like, if you guys have ever seen my transformation videos, it's me and walking with a walker because I couldn't walk, you know. So and after the second time I went into like this super big deep depression. And it was like I just remember being like so depressed and so like, you know, like it wasn't gonna get fixed. Like I couldn't figure out how to fix it. Like I couldn't figure out how to stop eating and stop overeating. And so I just remember it was July 31st and I'm scrolling on TikTok. I'm new to TikTok. Never been on TikTok for a day in my life. My wife had made me download it. And I scroll past a guy who's very popular on TikTok, has over 1 million followers, heavy to modified. You guys haven't heard of him. He's a great inspirational person. He's lost 400 pounds himself. And I remember his video talking about how he made his transformation and what like started him going. Or I can't even remember the exact video because I've watched so many of his videos at this point. But I just remember it being like, I can do this. So the next day I go to the gym, start working out again. And I'm like, all right, I got to figure this out. So I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to figure it all out. Food, whatever. I got to figure it out. So a week later, I started posting on TikTok. And at year's point, my wife had tried to get me on Ozempic, but my doctor originally wouldn't put me on it. He was pushing bariatric, and I didn't want to do bariatric at the time because I'm a man. I could do it myself. And which, you know, looking back, I probably should have. But then, so I got a new doctor that I felt like listened to me, which shout out to my new doctor. She listened to me perfectly. Like she would listen to what I would say. But I walked in, I started talking to her. I'm like, hey, I don't know if you've heard of these new drugs. I don't even know what they're called. I was like, but they help you with weight loss. It's for diabetes, yada, yada, yada. And she's like, yeah, no, there's a savings card that we can get you on a savings card because my insurance wasn't going to cover it. And we can get you going. I was like, cool. So, and I was thinking like the savings card was going to last for forever, by the way, in my head, because I thought that's how that worked. Like you get a savings card, you get prescriptions, like, come on, like,
we're still hoping for that. We're still hoping for that, right?
Right. Hey, if it comes back to $25, man, I will. Yeah, because that's how much I paid for like. So I don't know what happened with my insurance, but the OG savings card, as we call it, stopped it in January that year. Like, you know, and so, but my insurance gave it to me for $25 through that whole next year. So like a year and a half, I got it. I wasn't going to tell them that they were wrong. You know, I just kept on going, you know, so, which is probably mean of me, but I watched a lot of TikToks where people were like, I'm not having, you know, and I wasn't trying to go without my medicine because it was working so well. But so I started Mounjaro in September. And I also, at the same time, started working out with a personal trainer. His name's Big Kent. Shout out to Big Kent. and he helped me learn how to eat the correct way. And like, so I'm like, I guess I didn't realize like how much I was eating like 10,000 calories a day. And in my head, not understanding calories and not getting it, I didn't understand. So my first meal plan that he puts me on and helps me with, it's 4,000 calories, but it's very clean eating. But there's no way you can overeat on this 4,000 calorie going from 10,000. Technically, I'm in a calorie deficit, so I'm losing weight fast. I'm losing like 8 to 10 pounds a week. I think the first 2 months, I lost 72 pounds on it. I think it was, and that was so first dose 2.5, second dose 5, and then the third month I went to 7.5, which I went, and then I did that for the rest of my journey until maintenance. And then maintenance, I got to 10, and I stopped at 10. So I did that. I think it took me 13 months to get into maintenance. So it was 238 pounds I lost. I think it was, 238 pounds I lost. I got down to like 228, but I felt kind of weak, kind of like, like I wasn't strong enough to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do. So I was like, I got to put on some more muscle. I got to stop losing weight and focus on just gaining as much muscle as possible. So I did that. I went up to, so I stay around 250 now, and I try to stay in that range. I try to get myself 5 pounds one way, 5 pounds the other.
Quick pause here. I've had moments on my GLP-1 journey where insurance changes or rising costs forced me to look for a new provider. And honestly, that process can feel very overwhelming. But that's why the Plus Sides podcast has partnered with GLP Winner to give our subscribers a resource to help them make that decision easier. GLP Winner is a comparison platform that lets you explore telehealth providers in all 50 states, whether you're looking for brand name medications or compounded options. You can see pricing up front, read reviews, and get a clear picture of which provider might align best with your needs. Check it out today at glpwinner.com/plus sides. That's glpwinner.com/plus sides. Don't forget the Z. Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m., and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again, and the hot flashes are gone, which is, geez, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need.
Food has definitely been a very dominant voice in my head. That's not the main focus anymore. Dieting, exercising, and adding GLP-1s through Ro is a game changer. I have such a sense of mental freedom since I started with Ro. Food no longer controls my thoughts. Family time used to revolve around food, and now it revolves around what we're going to go do together.
And I try to stay in that range. But I did really well. I went and I won a Transformation Body Show. It's been over a year now, which was pretty cool, which I'm pretty sure I'm probably the first person to be on Mounjaro and do that. And yeah, it was really cool to do that. And, I spent a lot of time in the gym, but I've always loved the gym. So it was never about not loving the gym or not liking working out or liking to do that stuff. It was always about the food. And finally having that noise gone for a while, it finally let me focus on actually figuring out what I need to eat, what I need to do with my body. And so, and Kat, if you want a recipe for your book, broccoli, rice, and chicken is kind of my go-to, which is very boring, but it works. So
Really? Well, you can always season it.
it's salt and pepper.
The key is your seaseaning, right? Do you cook your rice in like broth?
Nope. It just jasmine rice, just in the microwave. I'm probably the most boringest person when it comes to food. Like I've simplified everything. I'm probably the worst at that sort of stuff. But simply making it simple and doing it makes it so easy for me. Like boom, 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 boom. So.
And you don't feel like deprived, like when you do it that way? I'm just curious. Like,
no, honestly, I like eating the way I do now. So I stay around like 2,200 calories now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about my maintenance with like working out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I have weeks that I still go up to like 3,000 calories and then I go back down. So I do like yogurt and stuff. I eat. I just, I try to keep my weight at a minimum. I just know when to go up and down, and I don't go way down and I don't go way up anymore.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think like something someone said once to me was maintenance. Like our bodies are not static, right? So maintenance is like a state of being, and you're just kind of balancing it and trying to figure out how to get there, and how to keep it there. And like, I think that it's very difficult, because I don't think people realize that even when you're in maintenance, your body still fights you. Like it's still,
and you still have that focus, right? You're still focusing on, I heard somebody in the community say like, it's still kind of like a mind thing because you still want the scale to keep going down, but you're like, I can't do that or I'll just, I'll lose too much. But
it took me a year to figure out maintenance. Like probably over a year, to be honest with you. It took me a while because I went up and I went down, and like it just took me a while to figure out, oh, here's where I need to be, here's what I need to do, and be right with it. It took a while. It took longer than it took to lose the weight, to be honest with you. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think losing it didn't take as long as trying to figure out how to not regain it. And the fact I've regained 10 pounds, but I'm like, but I mean, it's not 100. Do you know what I mean? Like that is, and I told Kat, I was like, look, like it's cold. I'm all right with 10 pounds. Like, like as long as my blood work is good, like, and I feel okay. And I do think that I prefer to be about 20 pounds less than I am right now, but I don't have a desire to be in a skinny body because there is no skinny Kim in existence. I've never been skinny ever. And like anything smaller than what I am right now would be middle school Kim. But I'm not going to lie. I'm curious about what skinny Kim would look like because everybody's been talking about it for such a long time.
AI, girl.
I know that's what Kat says. Just AI. AI. That's skinny Kim.
The funny thing, think of it this way. I think of all three of us, because we've gained, lost, gain, lost, gain, lost. Oh, yeah. When have we ever maintained such a
this is the first time in my entire life.
I remember sometimes it was like at the lowest point, and then quite literally it lasted 2 days, and then from then on it was just gaining it back.
Well, I had lap band surgery and I was able to maintain within a 10-pound thing for quite a while, but then I had a couple miscarriages, and every time like 10 came back on and then just didn't move. And then when I got pregnant with my son and it was successful, you have to deflate the lap band. And I remember, y'all, hormones are a bitch. I remember looking at, so I realized when I was pregnant that I could eat gluten, and normally I can't eat gluten without significant issues, like significant stomach, skin, brain, like all the thing issues. But for some reason, when I was pregnant, I could, and I didn't realize it until I was in my 3rd trimester. And so when that happened, I was like, I looked at this biscuit from McDonald's, sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit, and I was like, the chances that you're ever going to get to do this again are slim. Go for it. And I did. And I packed it on. Man, I packed it on. And then when he was born, I got the lap band back on, but I only could lose about 30 pounds. And like my body was just done. Like none so. And it wasn't until this that I, was able to get back into control again. Because I think that's like what most of us want, right? It's just it be our choice, right? Like if we're going to eat the French fries, it's our choice that we eat the French fries, not because we felt like we had to, or we were going to like die. Right. I don't know if you guys ever had that feeling with food, but like I did. Like it was like I would see French fries in front of me and I would be like, I have to have it, but I didn't want it, but I had to have it. It was awful. And then I would just
rice, chicken, and broccoli now.
Chicken and broccoli.
Yeah.
You put cheese on it or anything? You need cheese.
No.
So I'm gonna tell you, you gotta puree some cottage cheese and put some nacho cheese powder. Trust me, you know what?
He's like,
you just wait.
My wife keeps trying to get me to like protein mac and cheese that she makes all the time, and I'm like, no, I just can't do it. And it has cottage cheese. Something about cottage cheese, I can't do it. Cheese, I like cheese.
Okay,
but cottage cheese,
you gotta share the recipe. You gotta tell me what
makes me cottage cheese things sometimes, but she doesn't tell me that's what it is until after I've eaten it, and I always get constipated.
Dairy. What is protein?
There's something about it. It's just real hearty. Anyway, did you ever think that I was going to have to talk with you about constipation on a podcast, AJ? Probably not.
No, but I didn't think it was like anything was going to be out of the question either. So
yeah, it is true. Yeah. I think that you made a point, and I think this is something that I feel like definitely people have gone through. So my mom also grew up very poor, and was on all the assistance and everything, and she would always tell me, like, I always wanted a tomato and mayonnaise sandwich, but most of the time we couldn't afford the tomato, so I just had a mayonnaise sandwich, like, and it was just about, and I think that for her, she always, even though she didn't live in a big body, she always had like the food noise. And I think it's there's, from a psychological perspective, there's got to be something there, you know what I mean, where like something in the brain, where it's like, you don't know when you're going to get your next meal, so you got to get it in, I'm so curious. I want to get a neurologist on this podcast so bad, but I haven't found one yet.
I thought we had one.
That's a great point. There has to be something in with.
Yeah.
My mom did like a popcorn diet in the 80s where all she ate was popcorn.
That was popular. Yeah.
And so she lost some weight in the 80s doing that. And I remember it being at a very young age, remembering her doing that.
Yeah.
It was before she met my stepdad, so it was in between marriages, so it was her messy time.
Yeah.
And I just remember, and I remember her doing that, but I remember her spending hours walking the dogs, and and then she'd come back. But I always just like, I remember like the food not being there, like, and just it's during that time. It was like, I don't know, it was from like kindergarten to third grade. She like had gotten a divorce from, and it was very messy. And I remember one time, like, I remember we got pizza one night, and my brother went in there. I got 7 brothers, but my oldest brother and me and him had the same mom, same dad, and he's always been overweight his whole life also. But he went in there and ate, like, finished whatever the pizza was. But my mom was planning on taking it to work, and I just remember her bawling one day because she didn't have lunch for the next day, because my brother, who also has, the obvious food noise, that he has issues with his weight, went and ate. And I just remember her bawling, and like, so it just, the food and the issues were always there for some reason.
Yeah.
So
interesting. Do you think that, did you feel, so it's just this brother, but did you feel like any of your other siblings like struggled with this? Because I'm wondering, like, why does it seem to show, it doesn't show up in everybody, right? Like my mom, like, she didn't struggle with obesity until she was well into her 60s,
So my other brother, so I got my brother, and I had a half brother, and then I had 2 stepbrothers, and then my parents came together, who I called my parents, my stepdad and my mom, and they had 2 boys. The one underneath me and my older brother didn't, and then my stepbrothers, they didn't. They've always been pretty skinny, but my 2 younger brothers, they're not small, but they were never as big as me. I was always the big brother. I was always the bigger brother than everybody, so,
Yeah.
but I always felt like I always had to like prove myself with having 7 brothers and like trying to be the strongest and trying to be the fastest and trying to be this and that, but never being able to beat them in anything. Like there was always somebody faster or somebody better, but it was the weight always held me back,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I get that. Yeah, I think it's something to think about as we go through, I think, this journey of seeing like different things that contribute. And whenever the doctors say like obesity is multifactorial and it's really complicated, like this is just another layer of complexity around it. Like why our brain responds the way that it does, during I think these things. And the one thing I'll tell you is like we've been going to Obesity Week and being able to do the advocacy work that we've been doing, and like it has been incredibly kind of insane and almost makes me a little mad sometimes. But like ultimately, what the doctors and the scientists have said that I've met with that are experts in this area are like the size that you're going to be, like the just how you are, like that's genetic. Like that's genetic. And
yeah,
you can try to kind of will it into existence and get to a certain place and stuff, but it is genetic. Like that part is. And then in terms of this issue with like I think calorie and calories in and calories out, I always wonder like why people think like when they think about these medicines, why they think they're like weight loss meds, because weight loss meds, like you get on them, you get off them, right? And it's just different, right? You just eat, it's just treating like the symptom, it's just treating the hunger, but these are different. And I still don't think people really understand that. Before you were doing any of this, did you take any medicine to help you?
no,
Yeah.
I should like because I'm sure I have like OCD and like a bunch of probably some different
Right.
beings in me somehow, uh but yeah, no, I was always anti everything,
Yeah.
but I was at a point in my life where I couldn't do it anymore by
Yeah.
myself. Like I just knew like there's no way I could do this by myself.
Yeah.
Um, and I got very lucky, finding my personal trainer who is one of my good friends now, and getting on, having this happen at this point in time. Like I think it all happened for a purpose, and I
Mhm.
think men's mental health is part of that. Part of my purpose
Big
is like
part. Yeah.
making sure that guys know that hey, we can do this.
Yeah.
Like that we're strong. Yeah, we can. But that doesn't mean we can't advocate for our health also. We advocate for our family. Like, I'd fight my wife if she thought she wasn't gonna go to the doctor if she had an issue.
Mhm.
But me, I would never go, like I mean, like I think that's something that men need to like stop worrying about like all the stigmatisms
Yeah.
of
Right.
not needing stuff. So
Yeah, for sure. I think that's true. I would love for us to dig into a little bit about maybe why we think that is, with our doctor friend.
Oh, yeah, we can.
And I think that what's sort of crazy about this medicine is it pushes on kind of the social fabric of everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, which is crazy, right? Like, but it does. Like, it pushes on the wait a minute. Like, it examines like and shines holes in like the system everywhere, and not just the system with the medical system, but like society and like how we view things and why we view things. Like, it's like a
Mm.
revolution. You know what I mean? So I think that we should talk about that because I know that I have mostly female listeners. I have male listeners too. But what happens is that the female listeners will send these episodes that we do with Men's Health. They will send that to their husband, right, or their brother or whatever, so that they can listen, and then they go get help, right? And that's what we want. We want people to understand that they're worthy and deserving of health, and of help. And so let's talk more about that. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Oh, all right. Well, hello, Dr. Kevin. I'm going to try to say the last name because I always mess it up.
Gendreau.
Gendreau. I did
Perfect.
it. Ah,
Hi,
huzzah.
guys.
Dr. Rentia was on, and I said her name. I go, Dr. Matea Rentia. She's like, oh, perfecto. I was like, oh,
She's so nice.
yes.
Yes.
We're so glad to have you. Hi, welcome in.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So,
We're so
how we
excited.
start like every episode is we ask our guests who they are and how they help people. So we'd like to give you the floor to explain that for us, please.
Great. So my name is Dr. Kevin Gendreau. I am a full-time board-certified obesity medicine doctor. I work in Massachusetts. Why I do this work and how I help people is because I kind of have skin in the game. So I myself used to weigh 306 pounds. I had type 2 diabetes. I had obstructive sleep apnea with a CPAP machine. I had high cholesterol, high blood pressure, fatty liver disease, plantar fasciitis, depression, the whole nine. A lot of the stuff that I help my patients now and treat patients for now. This was 10 years ago. And so in 2016, I was a primary care doctor with all of these, comorbidities and dealing with living life in a bigger body. And at that time, my sister was diagnosed with a terminal form of ovarian cancer, which sort of inspired me to want to be the best version of myself. She has 2 young children, and at the time of her diagnosis, they were 2 and 6, my niece and nephew. And so my grief and my love for my sister and her kids basically motivated me to want to be the best version of myself. So I lost 125 pounds at that time and decided to slowly transition from full-time primary care physician who was not practicing what I preached into full-time weight loss doctor. And the way to do that in this field is to become board certified by the American Board of Obesity Medicine. So I did that, and now I am the physician lead of a medical weight loss practice. We have a team, a nurse practitioner, a nurse, medical assistant, dietitian, and we have a panel of over 3,000 patients. I'm very lifestyle focused. That's how I lost weight, but I also acknowledge that obesity is a chronic biological, genetic, hormonal, very multifactorial problem. And just because I personally lost weight without medication or surgery does not mean that that's the standard of care for my patients. I just think that having been through a weight loss journey myself, it just gives me more insight to helping my patients because I know how hard the struggle is and how bad the food noise can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's amazing. I know it's funny because you just saw one of my videos recently and commented on it. You were like, hi. And I was like, hi. I thought I knew all the obesity doctors here over on the TikTok, right? No. He was like, no, I've been here for years. I was like, me too. It's crazy. And then we just started chatting it up and I was like, you need to come on our show. And he was like, all right. So I'm so glad to have you here and have you with AJ so we can talk a lot about that. I think that there is nothing, the way we see it. So I call myself an obesity care advocate. I just want you to get care. And that could be surgery, that could be lifestyle, that could be whatever works for you, And I think that we all figure out kind of accidentally what works for us if we're lucky to figure it out at all. But I think it's important to consider that there are different options. And I think that we've seen that lately. I've heard a lot of obesity doctors come and say maybe you don't need GLPs and, that kind of thing. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think that it's fine for us to consider different things. The only time I have an issue is somebody says you don't need those things, because you don't know. It's just like you said, it's very complicated, So
that's why it's so dangerous to be a doctor giving advice online. I mean, it should just be education information. But if you're a doctor giving advice, then how do you know that everyone that's listening to that, it's customized to their body type or their genetics or their biology or their hormones? You could have a 25-year-old guy listening, and then the next swipe, it's a 52-year-old woman actively going through menopause.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many different things I think that come into play here. And for me, I think because I always had obesity, right? I mean, for as long as I was 8 with food noise, and I think there's people like that. And then there's people who get in the obese category later in life, or maybe they get it earlier in life and are able to kind of thwart that, and I think there's something to be said for that. And I'm not sure if we actually know the answer yet as to if it's kind of preventable or not, right? I think that's what's cool about our show is we have like, I mean, you know, people say get a second opinion. Like we have lots of opinions here.
Mhm.
The only thing that I will say that I feel like rings true for every doctor that has an opinion on here that is an obesity specialist or an endocrinologist is that your weight is genetic. Like, and like in terms, and not saying that you have to be fat, but like just saying like it's predetermined, like the size human that you're going to be. And that for sure weight is regulated in the brain. Those are the like two things that everybody agrees on. There are other things around that, right? Because it's multifactorial and very complicated. But that's that. I would say those are like the two main things. What do you think about that?
Well, if you're asking me what I think about that, basically, I just get nervous about saying, so I definitely think that like obesity has genetic components. Like, so what I deal with a lot is teaching my patients about insulin resistance and having insulin resistant body types, and your body may be responding poorly to certain foods or certain food groups. Like people who are insulin resistant, people who struggle with their weight tend to look at a cookie and gain 5 pounds.
That's crazy.
Whereas like there's insulin sensitive body types who are born in such a way that they could eat an entire box of Oreos and they'll still have a 6-pack at the end. So like there's definitely a genetic component or genetic predisposition. The only thing I don't like about that is I'm like the forever optimist, and I don't want people to think like their destiny is to be everyone in my family is big, so I will be too. Everyone in my family has had bariatric surgery, so I will too. And it's like, wait a second, we have tools to combat this. It doesn't just have to be your destiny to forever be 300 plus pounds or 400 plus pounds. So that's the only like caveat I have to that statement is like, I don't like it to sound defeatist, like your weight is predetermined, period. It's like you have all of these factors that are not in your favor, like being female, being 50 plus, maybe having given birth to 3 kids, because that pregnancy in and of itself worsens insulin resistance. So we just have to like, you know, it's like more and more things that we have to combat, but it's not like a destiny kind of thing. Like
I think that makes total sense. I mean, I think I've heard some doctors say like, not necessarily that you have the obesity gene, right? And that is what it is, because that's different, right? But that just in general, your weight in general, like the stat that I've been given from doctors is about 70% of your weight is determined, right, by genetic factors, right? Whatever those are, like not obesity, but again, I hear that you can tell me you disagree. That's what the show was for. Like we want people like
I just don't even know if I could put a percentage on it because I'm not quite sure. It seems like some people lifestyle factors work better than others. And a lot of times lifestyle changes work for so long and then kind of stop working. Like the same thing you tried, you yo-yo up and down enough times that like, why is it that the same thing that I'm doing now is not working anymore? I yo-yoed a lot with my weight loss, but it was always like the same 25 pounds. So like I still had over 100 pounds to lose, and I would like join Weight Watchers and lose 20 pounds and then gain it back. And so it was just like the same 20, 25 pounds. And then it was really only that one time that I lost like 125, but it's definitely something that I forever have to deal with. I mean, it's like a choices that I'm making, lots of little choices every day to kind of stay on track, acknowledge the body type that I have and that I'm built differently than other people who can, like, eat whatever the hell they want and stay skinny.
Right. Damn those bitches.
Sometimes I have patients, so 83 to 87% of my patients are women, but I do take care of 15 to up to 20% of men that I see in a day. And a lot of times my female patients will bring in their significant others.
Yeah.
And the the male spouse will like try to interject and be like, what can you do for me? I need help gaining weight. Get out.
Get out.
I don't know how to help anybody gain weight. Goodbye. Like I'm here to help your wife. I don't know. Like you complaining to me about how you can't put on. Oh, I feel so bad for you.
I know it's hard, right? You're like,
I get out.
Like, and that's something I say too a lot is like, I'm like, there are people, we know people. Like if you just want to even understand, I think the spectrum of all this, right? We know people that can eat like trash pandas and never gain a pound. Right. But people really struggle thinking the opposite is true, you know? And I wonder, like, why do you think that is?
There's also, I think maybe you made me think of this. You're provoking this thought, Kim. You know how like when it's like socially acceptable to be a very small person and have engorge yourself on all this food in front of everybody, and it's hilarious. It's funny. It's great. But if you have a heavy person do the same thing, you're disgusting. You're gross. It's
That's
social.
true.
Social thing.
Social weight
loss. Got any opinions?
I think it's like social currency, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, we see that kind of every day. Like there's creators that come across my FYP who are kind of, it's not even like mukbang. Like they're not on there to engorge themselves with food. It's literally just like what I eat in a day. And the comments are, because they're someone living in a bigger body, the comments are just like nasty. And you can tell the caloric intake is like pretty much in the normal range, and what they're choosing is like pretty solid square meals, and they're kind of just eating from all the normal food groups that they think they're supposed to eat from, but the comments are just filled with hate. And then we have like, you know, people like Courtney Cook, who is like someone that's living in a smaller body. I love her, right? I love her, but like zero hate comments. Doesn't matter how much she eats, doesn't matter how many calories she consumes. She is universally adored. Like, and I love her too, right? Like, I'm not saying hate to her, but
I have not. You know, you guys make me
Georgia. You know, we live in Georgia.
I gotta find her.
I love her.
I gotta find her. Do you remember
like her talk about how she was a bunny? Like she's like, I see myself as a bunny. Like I'm like a bunny, and that's all I can see now. And now when I watch her stuff, I see her eat and get excited like a little bunny, and I'm like, I just love her. But you're right. Like if Courtney Cook were 100 pounds more, living in a bigger body, I feel like many people would still love her.
The first comment would be like, do you know how much sugar is in a sweet potato?
Yeah.
That'd be
the first comment. You know, like it would be like that. Hey Plus Siders, we're so glad that you were able to tune in for part 1 of the episode. Part 2 will be posted next week. We look forward to seeing you then. Have a great week, and remember, you're not alone. It's not your fault. Let me tell you a quick story. I was telling Kat how I was regaining weight after my 100-pound loss using GLP-1 medications, and I was having snacky cravings and waking up at 3 a.m. and I had hot flashes, and I was worried. But Kat was like, listen, I went through this last year. It's perimenopause, and I started HRT, and she used this company called Winona. So I started going there to see if this was something that was going with me. Turns out it was, because I'm 46. And it's been amazing. It's taken a while to find the right dose, but once I did, it's just been huge. I've been sleeping. I feel more myself again, and the hot flashes are gone, which is, geez, really bad. So I will tell you, it's just been so big for me. And so I wanted to partner with them on the podcast because obviously many of our listeners are going through this same age range and definitely are having these issues. And there's just no need for you to suffer. So if you go to the link that's in our link tree, you can click on that and save money. If you go there and you meet all the criteria, and this might be something for you to try. So I just want to make sure you had this great resource because it's just been such a big difference for me and Kat. Again, you can go to the link in our link tree and get what you need. Today's episode is brought to you by Ro, a telehealth platform that's changing the game of GLP-1 access. What sets Ro apart? Ro understands the challenges of navigating insurance hurdles and the skyrocketing prices of GLP-1 medications. That's why they specialize in getting insurance approvals for GLP-1s. And if insurance is a barrier, they go a step further by prescribing brand name zepbound vials for prices close to those of compound GLP-1s. With Ro, you're not just getting a prescription, you're getting a partner in your journey that's helping you access affordable treatment and guiding you every step of the way. Whether it's insurance approvals or cost-effective alternatives, Ro is here to make sure that you get the medication you need. Visit ro.co/plussides with a Z today to see how they can help you take control of your weight management journey with affordable, accessible care. That's ro.co/plussides with a Z, making healthcare work for you. Check out the link in our show notes for more details.